Michelob Ultra and Myrtle Beach wholesaler Southern Crown Partners Incorporated know our consumers enjoy relaxing days on the water with Mich Ultra's crisp and refreshing taste in hand. It's important to remember to drink and boat responsibly. Choose to be or to designate a sober skipper before leaving the dock. Do it for your family and friends, your passengers, and everyone else on board. Michelob Ultra salutes all sober skippers who take the pledge. Cheers, and we'll see you on the water. Oh, good morning, fish heads. Welcome to the Southern Anglers Radio Show, coming to you live via the Toyota Tundra Studio, presented by Sparks Toyota, where the dealer's always in.
And by Key West Boats and Morrison's Marine of Lake City and Georgetown, where every day is a boat show.
Every day.
And
go ahead.
And by the Freedom Boat
Club,
where the boat is ready.
Oh, in harmony. Hey. All right. Hey, it is so nice to be back here. And thank you guys so much for last week and covering. And I do feel a lot better. And you guys did an incredible job. And we have more than 15 listeners. I'm going to tell you, at least 17. Wow. Because I got so many text messages complimenting how great the show was last week. So thank you guys, Fred. I'm so sorry you didn't check your phone, Fred. Poor Fred. But anyway, y'all did a great job. And we are this week here at Barefoot Resort for the Saltwater Series seminar. And we're excited to hang out with all the crowd over here. We got some great speakers. And hopefully we're going to have Jamie Hough join us. We'll have the Flounder Pounder will be joining us. And hopefully George himself will join us. But a great crowd. I think you would call this a sellout crowd from what I've told. So we're going to have a good time, and hopefully some of us will go in and get some education. You're going to go in, aren't you, Matt?
My plans are to go in and get educated, that's for sure.
I give you a props, man, because you really and truthfully have dedicated the last couple months to you're really trying to figure out fishing. And I'm not just talking the river and everything. You're trying to figure out fishing. Yeah. And, man, it's fun.
You know, prior to having kids, I was always in the water.
Yep.
You know, I had my Key West Bay boat, and, man, there wasn't no body of water I didn't travel. I mean, I was out there constantly. When kids came along and, life struck and, it had to go on the back burner, and now I'm trying to get back into the swing of things and learn some new stuff. And I'm tired of the same old, and I want to get my boys out there, and I owe it to them, really and truly. Yep. I watch what they do. They went out there on that Waccamaw, and they learned. They just learned. They learned how to bass fish. They learned tides, and they learned so much stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I got to get back out there.
Yep.
And I've been exploring different bodies of water, and Fred's going to help me out with learning some new bodies of water, and I'm just tired of being stuck in a rut. I want to go explore some more.
The number one factor that Tony always makes reference to in fishing, and I think we all do, we all realize it and we all recognize it. The number one factor in success on the water is what, Tony? Time on the water. Thank you.
Time on the water.
No substitute.
No substitute. And that voice there you heard was obviously the one and only Fred Rourke. But, without a doubt, life changed. Some of us have kids, and that can be a good thing and a bad. It's a great thing. Don't get me wrong.
No, I get it.
But it is a good excuse if you take them fishing.
Yes.
Take them with you. Don't leave them at home. Take them with you. And, again, I want to say this. I watched and I read all the Facebook posts from last week. Oh, by the way, Lucas, I'll tell you a little bit about that reel. So I watched the Facebook post last week from Salt. And, dude, it is so awesome to see how Salt has grown. Oh. And to see the number of girls, the number of young anglers that are fishing it. And bass and redfish, I don't care which one you're targeting. We can make all our drinking water, fishing water, whatever comments you want. Just get them out there fishing.
I can remember, Coach Poston, and I call him Coach Poston. Rayburn and I have a long history.
I call him Coach Captain.
Coach Captain.
Coach Captain.
And Rayburn and I, we coached at Conway together, and we were the defensive line coaches. And that's such a big group that they usually have two coaches for. And I remember we was in our at practice one day and getting ready to go to our Indy period, and Ray said, I'm getting ready to start a bass fishing club. My very question
You started laughing.
I said, why?
Yep.
He said, I just want to get kids involved in fishing. I'm like, really? When my man went and bought him a new boat, and I'm like, and I have watched this thing grow over the years, and I got to tell you, Rayburn has done a phenomenal job with this thing. From where it began to where it is now, it's incredible. And now he's partnering with FCA.
Yep.
And going to expand it down into Beaufort and Hilton Head, and he's going to be the fishing contact on the South Carolina coast for FCA.
FCA. Yep. And they are so Rayburn next year will be retiring from teaching.
He will.
And so he's going to have a lot of time on his hands. And I think that the plan that he's got laid out now is a lot more clear.
Yes.
For those of us on the outside also, which was a factor that I had not issues with, but I just couldn't understand where he was going with it. Because once again, I have been a proponent for salt since day one, actually going back prior to salt, and that would be the Conway anglers,
Yep.
the Tiger anglers, in which I still say that those first seminars that we had at Conway were the biggest seminars that we've ever had.
They were big.
Down here. They were big. They were huge. And to see, what he's got laid out for the future is great, and it's only going to grow. And the way you do that is, if you want to learn fishing, you come to seminars like we're at right here today. George brings in an incredible crowd of speakers, and I think the way he ties in national guys with the local guys, you get such a good input and so much intel from, you take a guy who fishes in Florida all the time. Yeah, he's not going to understand a lot about what we do, but
you can apply what he has.
You can apply what he does. I'll just tell you that my jig fishing for sheepshead started 13 years ago. I never had fished for a sheepshead with a jig, and never would I thought of it. My mind for a sheepshead was small, heavy hook, and fiddler crabs, obviously.
Right.
Never would I thought about a jig head. I go down there. I show up at Sailfish Marina to film a show with Greg Bogdan. We're going to go sail fishing. We hit the jetties, and it's 7 foot. We turn around.
We're going to do something else.
He goes, hang on a second. He drives over to the bait boat. He picks up a couple of fiddler crabs, and literally in the channel right there looking at Sailfish Marina, looking at all Buccaneers, all the big marinas, we start filming a show catching sheepshead
on jig.
On the banks, yes, on the bank of where the drop-off is in the ICW, and it's just like fishing for reef fishing for them.
Wow.
So we're fishing with a jig head, with live shrimp. I'm sorry, we were using live shrimp.
Oh, okay.
And so we're using a jig head, and I'm like, oh, my God, I'm going home and trying this. Like, I am taking this home and trying it.
Well, sure.
And Broach had just come out with Fish Sizzle. They had just come out with Fish Sizzle. And we went to Paulie's Reef and put fiddler crabs on it. And it was the year it snowed at Valentine's. Anybody remember that?
Yeah.
And it was the day after the snow. We still had snow on the boat. We had to knock it off, and we went. And, oh, my God, since then, if I'm reef fishing, I'm going to have a jig. Somebody on the boat or me is going to be fishing with a jig, and I love it.
Well, one thing about these seminars and to include us in that is that people listen to us on the radio, right? They don't see us.
Right.
We
talk about something and explain it the best we can.
Well, we're absolutely approachable. So you can actually put a face with a voice, and the same thing with these guys that are going to be doing the seminar. You can go up to George Poveromo. You've seen him on TV for 30 years.
Yep.
But you can go up and talk fishing with George or with one of us, and I want to encourage everybody, don't feel like you can't approach anybody you see.
Everybody here.
Yeah, everybody there, and including our crowd, and come over and talk to us. We're ready to talk fishing anytime.
Because at the end of the day, we're just like
you. Yeah, we're no different.
We're the same people you are. We just love
Hey,
fishing.
and by the way, don't be surprised if we ask you a question.
Yeah, roger that.
We may ask you a question.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm super excited to hear Paul Godbout talk. Paul is from Charleston. Paul sells fish. If you were ever on charlestonfishing.com, he was the man, sells fish. Paul is an incredible wahoo fisherman, but he's also a really, really, really good bottom fisherman. So I can't wait to hear him speak today. I know he's going to be sharing a lot. He also writes part-time for Trilogy Outdoors magazine, so it's going to be great to see him and listen to him. And then the other one, Jamie Hough, a great inshore fisherman from Pawleys Island, for those that don't know. Originally from Pawleys Island. So let's get that straight. But to think that if possibly going to be Chris Osman, Jamie Hough, and Jason on stage together, speaking, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, and if you're still debating on whether you want to attend, which you can, is that you're going to go, well, are they going to cover what I like to do? Yes, everything from trout fishing to marlin fishing is covered. You're going to hear guys that do that with a number of guys talking the same subject. Their techniques, and like you said earlier, you can learn a technique from Florida. All this stuff could apply back to where we are right now. So if you're an inshore guy, offshore guy, it doesn't matter. You're going to get your fill. Plus, they have some great giveaways at this show.
I know. That's Matt. I was like, Matt, hey, man, I'll pay for you to go fish in the bass tournament. No, I think we're going to come to the seminar.
Yeah.
Well, I talked to Chef Richard this week. He said he attended one in California, and he was like hiding it. He said he won so much, he want his name called again. You're going to think this thing's rigged.
Well,
I won so much stuff.
I tell you, E mentioned it earlier, about me getting out there fishing, but I got to give, I said my boys, but I got to give this group credit, man. Y'all have got me back on the water. I'm out there constantly, but I'm selling boats, I'm moving boats, I'm touring people. I'm out there all the time, but I didn't fish as much as I do now, and I am thankful for that. I forgot how much I enjoyed it.
Oh, it's hard not to get inspired hanging out with these guys.
And I tell you, what I do.
First off, you get your butt kicked by this crew, so I want to get out there and trust me, like I've been texting Mr. Regan over there this week because I got something that I want to do, and he has been very kind to share some information with me. And I will never, ever, ever and Chris got to know me. I mean, I have never asked him directly, like, hey, where were you at? Have I ever asked you?
No, never.
Anything?
Never.
No, and I would never do that. But I did kind of figure out where he may have been.
Oh, yeah, it's not hard.
And we were just discussing some different options on the area as far as when to be there and different things. And he had success at a time that I've never had success. And I've been fishing there for a long time in a different tide. You've called them in a different tide, but I mean, it is hard in this crowd not to be inspired.
Oh, man.
And the fact that we now have 7 to 8 people, hell, how many hosts we got now? 9? I don't know. Anyway, we got 7 to 9 of us, and me and Tommy and Tony are the 3 that fish the least. Remember? Yeah. I remember back in the day when I used to pick on Tony and Kenny about how little they fished. Well, we don't fish anything compared to y'all. So we're cheating because we got intel coming from all different angles now. But
it's all right.
We got the seminar today, but being around this group, I'm fortunate to get a seminar every week. From here, and when y'all start talking, especially Tony, because I'm a freshwater guy. What's that commercial? E.F. Hutton.
When he speaks, listen.
Everybody listen.
Yeah.
I shut up and listen. Because I've applied so much that Tony has said. I'll never forget. He said when the leaves are on the water, you need to start fishing top water. Well, I said, and I was out there one day and I saw all this trash on the top water, and my boys, of course, fishing worms. That's what they like to do. Well, I grabbed a whopper plopper, and I fell in love that day.
Well, I'm going to tell you another big tip that will pay off, and I know it came up 2 weeks ago in the show. We brought it up, I think, when you were there. Last time you were there, it came up. Not only those leaves, but if you pull that top water out and you throw it and you do not see a bubble trail behind it, put it back, go somewhere. Don't go somewhere different. It's not because the fish aren't there.
Right.
That bubble trail.
What's the bubble trail?
Pressure.
Barometric pressure.
Barometric pressure, and it is unbelievable. I can tell you that we have gone into one creek, and Tony will completely remember this day. We went into
Ain't it?
We went into a creek, and we got to the mouth of the creek, and I threw top water the first 200 yards. Tony's laughing the whole time. He's over there throwing that square bill.
He didn't tell you.
Throwing that square bill. He catches 2 fish. Well, we get back, and we get to where the creek makes a turn, and we're back in there a little further, and all of a sudden, there's a bubble trail. Like, how in the world did all of a sudden there started to be a bubble trail? Guess who started catching fish? the micro mini buzz bait.
There you go.
My go-to bait. I needed 3 rods, and all 3 had micro mini buzz baits tied on them because I was losing them. I'd get tangled up in the tree. But
That little bit of barometric pressure change, what we was talking about, when you pull a buzz bait across the water, you'll see the bubble trail behind it.
Yep.
If you see them bubbles dissipating immediately and it's not leaving a trail, it's because of the barometric pressure putting force down.
boom, it's not letting it sit on the water.
The bubbles won't sit there. You got a low oxygen rate and high barometric pressure.
Yep. So no matter how bad you want to throw top water, let the water dictate it. I mean, the fish first and foremost should always dictate what the hell you're doing anyway.
Yeah.
No, you can't see that on forward-facing sonar. You cannot see
Your live
that.
scope,
And by the
man.
way, just to let everybody know, y'all got to go check out Trilogy Outdoors podcast this week. Andrew Upshaw from Let's Fish TV joined us. It's a great episode, about an hour and 45 minutes we got going, but a lot of great topics covered. Tony, I think you'll agree with me that Andrew is Andrew's great. In the world of social media, he's one of the best out there. It's hard to argue with him about anything. The man was the first college national champion that qualified for the Bassmaster Classic. He's got an incredible record, and he hosts probably one of the most, the hardest outdoor television shows to host, in 39 new episodes a year, and competes full-time on the Bassmasters Open EQ.
Yep.
But it was a great episode, and you need to go check that out. Trilogy Outdoors on all your podcast platforms. What else?
It's real easy to see why Andrew is like he is, because look at his surroundings.
Yep.
You surround yourself with good people, quality fishermen.
It makes a difference.
It makes you better.
Yep.
I mean,
we'll talk about it. Andrew does a lot of podcasts, a lot of different things, but he does the Bassmasters fantasy fishing picks. He does it with Ish Monroe. He does it with Todd Castledine, who is another one that is like one of the when it comes to the world of social media, that man is the man. Probably one of top 5 in bass, wouldn't you say? Probably 5 to 10 in top.
he's that guy that proved to everybody that you could do it. You could do it right, and make not just a living doing it, but you could make a good living.
Yep.
Doing it.
Like if he never fishes another bass tournament,
Yeah.
were you still going to consider him to be a bass pro, even though he's making more money than all the bass pros and he's not fishing in a tournament? Hello.
I got to do some research on these guys.
There's your power of social media.
He still fishes tournaments. He just doesn't fish the tour anymore.
Nope.
He got away from fishing with the FLW and stuff like that, and just started doing his content and doing his thing, and he fishes local tournaments. But the local tournaments he's fishing for $150,000
Yeah.
for these tournaments.
It's amazing.
It's just little local tournaments around Texas, and he makes 10 times, easily 10 times the money now that he did when he fished on tour.
When he fished. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Your expenses are less. You get to pick and choose, fish your home water.
Yep.
So
He actually talked about it. He said, I got to go do like a 2-for-1 because there was 2 tournaments coming up that was back to back, and instead of me having to go rent a hotel room, I had a buddy that stayed there, so I was able to stay with him for 2 weeks, cut my costs down, and I got to fish both tournaments. As to where that would have cost him another $2,500
easily
in hotels and driving back and forth and stuff like that. So he manages his time as well as anybody you'll ever see on social media.
Yep. Captain Chris Regan joined us from Carolina Hook and Fly. You guys have been busy this week. Are you still a fishing captain, or have you become a what do they call that? A builder?
Carpenter.
yeah, I'm a
Carpenter.
laborer this week. It's
Yeah.
It's been busy. Everything is finally getting close to being done. So I'll be back on the
It
water.
looks great. I'll tell
Looking
you.
good, buddy.
It looks
Night
really
and
good.
day
Y'all did a good
difference.
job. Yeah, Tony goes, man, I said to Tony, I said, do you really think Jason has had anything to do with that? I mean, other than maybe paying for the bill and standing behind
Ask
and
him
cheering,
about the fence.
and cheering for y'all. Hang
that-
on. And cheering. Like, I love it. Jason's like, oh, we're working hard over here. I'm like, dude, I know you and I love you a lot, but I know who's doing the work. I mean, I know who knows what they're doing, and it's that man. And, of course, Nathan, I'm sure, was Nate or one of those was
Yep,
tied into that.
No, it was all it was a group effort. You know,
But MIFC, new and improved,
Yeah.
2.0.
It's gonna be nice.
It's going to be really nice.
Yeah, hopefully within the next week we'll be able to re-merchandise it. I've got a little bit of touches to do to finish up, but it's come a long ways from what it was, and it's nice.
That new aluminum fold-up window is going to be a lot nicer.
Yeah.
Lighter, I'm
Yep.
guessing.
A little bit lighter. The biggest thing was the other one. It lasted 6-8 years, and it just deteriorated over time.
Yep.
So this one will last a lifetime, and opens up a little bit higher, so more merchandising, more visual aspect of it. So it's going to be nice.
Well,
Hopefully-
great.
Hopefully this week the wrap will be on, and I got a little bit of flooring to do, and paint's done, and
I can't wait to get in there and see it.
I want to go see it. I haven't seen it
Seen
yet.
the pictures, but I haven't been in there since. I have not even been in the parking lot since y'all. I seen y'all that day getting all the lumber.
yeah,
At-
that's right.
All right, well, listen, we're going to go to break. 45 minutes you got to get out here still. Get signed up, and tickets are still on sale at the door here. But come out to Barefoot Resort here at the Conference Center, and we're going to go to break. So, Jenna, get that tuned up there, okay? All right, perfect. Well, hey, y'all don't go anywhere. This is Southern English Radio Show on the Gator 107.9. We'll be right back on the other side of the break. Hey, y'all, Captain E here with Southern English Radio Show, and I'll tell you what, I am super excited to be down in the Pond Road Storage in Merle's Inlet. I'm located within moments of either going to the river or going to put in the inlet. I'm keeping that Key West 250 Bay Reef indoors, and it is staying in great shape. I only have to wash the boat once now, and that's when I put it up and not before I take it to go fishing. But you can get incredible options here. 20-foot wide, 50-foot deep with 14-foot roll-up doors, a most state-of-the-art security system to keep you that peace of mind on all your products that you may keep in these storage buildings. You've got climate-controlled or non-climate controlled outdoor storage for trailers, RVs, and such. You can't go wrong. 843-855-7375. Give Chris Collins a good call down there. We can't wait. We love broadcasting down here inside the storage building, and you need to come down here and check it out too. Come down. Palm Road Storage, right here in Merle's Inlet. All right, fish heads. Hey, we're back. We're live. We are here at the Saltwater Series Seminar in North Myrtle at Barefoot Resort Conference Center. And we're coming to you via the Toyota Tundra Studio, presented by Sparks Toyota, where the dealer's always in.
And by Key West Boats and Morrison Marine of Lake City and Georgetown, where every day is a boat show.
Every day. And by
Freedom Boat Club, where the boat is ready.
Hey, and I'll tell you what, we wanted to go ahead and pop on live. I know I sent us to a break, but we've got quite a few captains here that are going to be speaking that are good friends of ours. And first and foremost, we got Captain Jamie Hough on. Jamie, thank you so much. It's been a while since we've had you on, brother.
It has been a while. I've talked to you a good bit, but I haven't been on the show in a while. I appreciate you having me.
Man, it's great to have you. What's been going on in Jamie Hough's life? Let's talk about that.
Well, I'll try not to. We'll try not to get into
No,
the
you
boring
can
stuff.
listen. You and I talked yesterday, man. I'm telling you, you are the epitome. And I think I've already heard a couple other people say something to you. You are an incredible son, and you're an inspiration to people.
Well, I don't know.
But like you did make a funny face,
Yeah, I
funny comment
appreciate
earlier.
Well-
It's tough to take care of the person that after when they beat you as a child. And
it's-
my parents were the same way. But it's
I mean,
why we're who we are.
That's why we're who we are. Exactly. I could have done without the fist fights at 10 and 12 years old, but other than that, I've been taking care of my parents for a few months. It's kind of put a halt to a lot of things. We haven't done a lot of traveling this year. Usually we do some restaurant consultations in January and February. We travel to Bahamas or South America or something, but put a halt to those. Put a halt to my tournament schedule just because I have no idea what the future holds. My dad's got dementia, so every day's a brand new. It's like 50 first dates.
Yep.
Except he's not near as hot as Drew Barrymore was in the movie. So that's what it's like at home. You never know what you're going to get. 3:30 every morning, it seems like he gets up and gets dressed. The other day, he packed up the room and thought we were moving. So my morning consisted of unpacking the room.
Wow.
The maid used to come once every 2 weeks. Now it's twice a week. Because I don't particularly care to clean up feces and urine. I don't even do that for dogs.
Man.
So it's just one of those things. What do they say? Twice a boy, once a man. They wiped my butt for a while when I was young. It's time for me to do the same. So my goal in life right now is to alleviate as much stress from my wife as possible.
Right.
She's an angel for dealing with this.
She is an angel for putting up with you.
You have no idea, man. She's double angel now. But I told her a few months ago, I said, if you were ever going to get out of this relationship, now's a real good time.
Run.
She doubled down. She said, I'm in it to win it, and you're going to have to help take care of my mom. So at least there's only one of them. But yeah, that's where we're at in life right now. Still fishing, lots of cooking, trying to get out of the house every chance we get. I went to my first therapy session a few days ago. Never been to therapy.
How did that
before.
go?
Well, I found out Blue Cross Blue Shield covers it. That's always
awesome.
a bonus,
Yep.
It went great. The hour went by so fast. I love talking about myself anyway. And that's all they wanted me to do. So it worked out perfect. But no, it's just a way for me to vent. The reason I bring that up, I want people to know that it doesn't have it's got a negative stigma. It always has going to therapy. Oh, you're crazy, or you got, something loose screw, whatever. I went because I need to vent to somebody besides my wife so that our relationship doesn't become 100% us dealing with my parents.
Yep.
It's already not sexy because they're living in my house, but that's better than us having to move in with them.
Yep.
Yeah, my family's been through it, but that's a tough road to hoe.
It is. It's not an easy one, but it's just like any other job or any other thing. You just put your nose down, grind it out, and try to find the small moments of joy in between the poop show that is the rest of it.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, you're still putting up a lot of food porn. Let's talk about the cooking side of it. You're still Traeger? You still with Traeger?
I'm not with Traeger.
Oh my gosh! What in the world?
Traeger booted me. I don't know. That's a $38,000 loss between Traeger and actually $48,000 loss.
Well, I'm going to personally tell you this. I know people that bought Traegers because of you.
So do I.
I know so many of them that bought Traegers because of you.
The email that I got back from them said that they were more concerned with impressions than they were actual sales.
Oh boy, you and I are going to get together and talk about that because I can tell we're both going to have the same sentiments on that impression thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm getting tons of impressions. The problem is they have a board. They got a board now, and as soon as a company goes public, you can just go ahead and write off whatever agreement you had last year. The minute that company goes public, it's going to change.
Yep.
Because those guys, they're bean counters, man. They could not care less about relationships. They couldn't care less about the fact that I was the second pro they ever had, and now they've got over 300. And also we're in a time when people are giving these companies everything that they need and want on social media with regards to impressions, and they're doing it for just a discount on a product. There is, it's like being a substitute teacher and getting paid the same amount as a regular teacher, and now the regular teacher don't have to go to work anymore because the sub's willing to do it for less.
That's right.
That's the point we are in our lives. But it's a good thing. I'm gonna tell you, I've looked at it from all angles, and I feel like losing Traeger is a great thing because now I can say whatever the hell I want to say on social media. I don't have to worry anymore about losing sponsors. It's a free feeling. It's very enabling now that I don't have to jump through those hoops and stuff anymore. So I haven't posted as much food pics and meat pics and stuff like that because I'm not constantly worrying about keeping them as a sponsor. They make a great product. We had a great 8-year relationship.
Yep.
I made almost $100,000 because of Traeger. But I've sold over 400 grills also. And that's the kind of the thing that worries me is if they're just worried about impressions, how are they going to show the ROI? Because that impression stuff is algorithm and it's basically conjecture because you don't know how much of it equates to actual sale.
Speaking of George Poveromo, he and I did a podcast together 2 weeks ago. This is exactly the point we brought up, is those impressions. Are they spending money? Are they spending money?
I equate it to how much an artist gets paid for a stream of a song.
Yep.
There's just no way for that artist to know how many times that song was streamed and whether or not they're getting shafted on the paycheck.
That's right.
But, everything goes full circle. as a pro fisherman, to keep a sponsor for 8 years is doing something anyway.
Yep.
Regardless if it was product or check, to get product and a check for 8 years is a pretty big deal. So I'm thankful to them. It's a great company. You know, the CEO is awesome. All the people that were on the team with me are awesome. I learned a lot. But it's time to move on. It's bigger and better things to come. You know, one door opens or one door closes, another one opens, and you just got to be there when it happens.
Well, you know, you're in Charleston. You live in Mount Pleasant, but you're in Charleston. And, I mean, when it comes to food, everybody's a foodie down there.
Yeah, man.
Everybody's a foodie. Everybody knows about you. I mean, I see, dude. I mean, you cook for incredible people. You know, I introduce you to the chef. We call him the chef.
Yeah.
Chef Richard. And you do, you know, similar things, but you kind of, I mean, you cook for everybody that comes into town.
Yeah,
all the celebrities come into town. They call Jamie.
We've had a good run, you know, because of Darius and my relationship with him. We've been able to cook for, you know, Lee Brice,
Yep.
Laney Wilson, Turnpike Troubadours, you know, a lot of great bands. Lee Brice was a lot of fun. We cooked backstage for him at Credit One Stadium and brought the big smoker. We call it the BBC. For all you people with dirty minds, that's the big black cooker.
Yep, the big black cooker.
It's 40 feet long, and the firebox is big enough that you can roast oysters on it. And I've got pictures at 1:50 in the morning. And you know that concert, they all end at 11.
Yep.
1:50 in the morning, we're still out there eating oysters and eating barbecue and having a good time. So developed a lot of really good relationships with a lot of people, and honestly haven't run across anybody in the music industry that's just been an a-hole yet, and I thought it was going to happen. But one thing I found out is that, you know, the people that Darius calls to do these events and the people that I wind up being around are they're all really good people.
Yep.
And, you know, they're all fun to hang out with. They don't mind hanging out and shooting the breeze, and it's great. We get the famous folks to sign the back door of the food trailer. My buddy Ed from Bare Naked Ladies wrote.
I was gonna say, I know you were with B&L.
Yeah,
Yep.
Cornbread had a dream last night, and it woke up this morning disappointed that it wasn't as good as yours.
That's awesome.
So
Well, you know, we kind of keep forgetting that Jamie Huff's a damn good fisherman. How about that? What you know? Dude, I love watching your morning report, leaving the dock and listening to you.
rants and raves.
Well, no, rant and rave, but just telling it like it is, in which everybody that knows Jamie Huff knows he's going to tell it like it is, whether you want to hear it or
I'm
not.
the nicest a-hole you'll ever meet. I've been
Exactly.
told that by a lot of people, but it's because I tell you exactly what I'm thinking. You don't have to worry about wondering what I'm thinking.
You don't have to wonder. You don't have to wonder. But how's the fishing down there?
The fishing's good. You know, I've got a rejuvenated and renewed enthusiasm about it here as of late. You know, I won Charleston's Best Fisherman the first year they ever had that category for charter captain,
Right.
in 2013. And the other day I was notified that I was nominated for this year. So out of 630 licensed fishermen, commercial fishermen and guides in Charleston.
I'm going to share that link on our page, by the way.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm going to share that link on our page. But I got it yesterday from Jamie, and I forgot. But I'm going to share that link so everybody can go vote for him.
And you know, I'm about to say something that's kind of on the same topic as me being the nicest a-hole you ever meet. You know, it's a long-standing joke that the people who win that thing are the people who buy the ad space.
Right.
I literally, when I found out I was nominated and I was going to be one of those 5 that people were voting on, I bought the ad space just to keep Redfin Charters from winning again.
Yep.
I don't think I should be in a category with a company that has 7 or 8 captains, because that's 7 or 8 times the business, 7 or 8 times the amount of people that can vote. So I wanted to put on that little ad, you know, I paid $500 to keep Redfin from winning. Please vote for me. That's what I wanted to put, but they would not let me do that.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're right. And it is tough for you to compete with those guys, but it's not tough in the sense that people that fish with you absolutely love it. We've got a lot from Merle's Inlet that come down there. We've got a lot of mutual friends that come and fish with you. They have a great time. This time of the year, let's talk about it. We're in March. What are you doing? Are those trout still in there pretty good?
You know, the trout aren't in there like they are in November, December. You know, first week of January they kind of thin out a little bit.
Yeah.
The bigger ones will slide offshore some, and they'll come back in and start spawning here in April and May. You know, for years I've been trying to get a couple politicians to help me write a bill to keep people from to just put a moratorium on keeping trout in the months of April and May. I think we could have a real trophy trout fishery, similar to like Big Lake, Lake Charles. I really think that we could have a trophy trout fishery if they could keep, especially the old timers, from killing trout over 22 inches in April and May, because most of those are spawning females.
Right.
But the other half of that too, people always talk about, let the females go, let the females. You still have to have the males. So if we could just not kill trout in 1 month out of the year, I think it would greatly improve the size, the average size of our trout. And Georgetown's the same way.
Well,
Georgetown's got a lot of water.
You're sitting at a table right now with three people that I think strongly agree with you on that. We are as conservative-minded fishermen as you can imagine, and I'm all about being proactive. And here's my, we were talking about sales fish, or Paul Godbout and I were talking about the tile fish and the regulations, and then we talk about the red snapper. I mean, things that once you let them touch it, you're not getting it back.
No,
and why not be proactive? Let's self-govern ourselves, and let's take a month to put all the fish back. I love David Platt. I love that group, the Release Over 20. I love it. And I finally joined it. I'm finally logging fish in on it. But there is we can make a big difference ourselves as anglers, and we push that every week. But, getting out there and releasing fish. I mean, take a picture. And you release a lot of fish, but you got customers that won't fish.
Well, I kill the hell out of trout in November, December.
Yep.
But it's right before the coldest part of the year. If we have some freezes and it's below, the water gets below 45 degrees for 3 days, they're kind of like oranges. When 3 days of frost makes the best orange. 4 days of frost kills them. Same thing with the trout. But back to your point about releasing fish, only fishermen can change the way they fish, right? But one thing that every single person who eats in any restaurant on the planet can do, go in there and say, because if there's no more consumerism for flounder, for instance,
right,
they'll stop gillnet and flounder in North Carolina, which is going to increase the drum population, black drum and red drum and trout. I don't see mullet on menus. Let them keep gillnet and the mullet, but don't let them kill the 250,000 pounds of red drum that they kill in the first 6 months of every year because they only check the quota twice a year.
That's right.
It's our responsibility to go into a restaurant and say, if you don't serve local shrimp, I'm not eating here. If you serve gill, net, flounder, I'm not eating here. If you're selling redfish that wasn't farmed, I'm not eating here. It's up to us as consumers to demand better of the restaurants, better of the seafood purveyors, so that there's no reason for them to go out there and pay a lobbyist so that they can still kill more fish than anybody else on the planet. The red snapper populations are booming.
Yep.
I can't catch a bottom fish on the nearshore reefs at home right now. If I go out 20 miles, you're just fighting through red snapper all day long. I can't get down to the cobes. I can't get the amberjacks. Used to, you're fighting through the amberjacks.
Yep.
Now we're fighting through the red snappers, there's days when I go out there and I drag baits for kingfish and I'm catching 20-pound red snappers.
Yep.
I just don't understand why we can't keep red snappers. Just let's say you're able to keep one a trip.
One per person.
One per person per trip, or just one per boat.
One per boat.
Trip.
That's the problem.
It wouldn't even put a dent in it.
That's the problem when you get the government regulating it. This is once it's in place, which was your point.
Yep.
When it's in place,
Yeah.
you get it reversed is all but impossible. So we got to self-regulate, which is what you're talking about with the trout.
Yeah, and that's the responsibility of every single consumer, not just fishermen. So we can all have a hand. You don't have to be a fisherman to be able to do your part and demand better of these restaurants and purveyors, which will in turn mean that they don't need to go pay lobbyists.
Yep.
To make sure that they can kill all these flounder in North Carolina. And the other thing is people don't think flounder migrate. Little River is a perfect example. The flounder population of Little River is hurting because of the gill netting in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
The fish don't know there's a state line there.
Nope.
I hate going to a restaurant and they're like, oh, this is North Carolina wreck fish. Do you think that fish knows that it's in North Carolina?
I've caught a flounder in Little River that was tagged in Cape Fear River.
There you go.
So, and then being on the line, but the regulations in North Carolina should increase our population here. Should help us a lot.
Absolutely.
From what they were doing before, with 60% of all southern and summer flounder caught on the East Coast were caught out of North Carolina.
Right.
But Jamie, to your point, if the restaurants got demand on that resource, which was coming out of North Carolina, in other words, you go to Merle's Inlet, eat flounder, it was coming out of North Carolina.
Absolutely. Anywhere in the country is coming out of North Carolina.
Exactly. So the new regs in North Carolina should help the flounder population, and hopefully DNR will do their sampling and stuff up this way and find out what's going on.
Yeah, let's get good numbers, good accurate numbers. No doubt about it.
I'd also like to see South Carolina DNR put a cap on the amount of commercial charter fishing licenses. It's getting thick everywhere. Even Little River. I mean, there's tons of them up there. There's tons in Merle's Inlet, and those are places that don't have rivers.
Yep.
That's waterway to ocean, and that's it. they don't. There's no influx of new fish for those.
You
guys.
want to, yeah, and you want to talk about crowded. You need to come hang out with us in Merle's Inlet.
Oh, I don't think you. I
come
don't
out
think
in-
you know
come-
crowded yet. We
come
got
in
over
June.
600.
I heard y'all. Yeah, I heard it was now over 500. It's 600.
It's over 600. Yeah.
Wow.
Now a lot of those are offshore guys.
Yep.
I would say there's at least 200 inshore guys. They're just like fishing guides are just like real estate agents. So 5% of them do 95% of the business.
Yep.
You know, you have to think, but that doesn't mean
We need
they're-
to go to break.
I
Buddy.
know. Okay. All right. Yep.
that doesn't mean that they're not out there on their days off, still putting pressure on the fish.
All right. Hey, listen, Jamie Hough. Anybody wants to get in touch with you? How can they book a charter with you?
They can go to the redfishmafia.com or redfishmafiacharters.com. The apparel site's back up. Got a new distribution
Perfect.
center, all new
Hey,
stuff.
by the way, y'all, his apparel is unbelievable, and go check it out. I'm looking at one of the coolest hats right now. But Jamie, thank you so much for taking the time. I know George and the boys are in there
Yeah.
waiting on you to get in there and get set up. But
Thank you.
Jamie Hough, Redfish Mafia, thank you so much. Hey, listen, we're going to take a break. We'll come back on the other side of this. Great interview with Andrew Upshaw yesterday. I want to play that, Jenna, and then we'll come back live here from the Saltwater Seminar Series at Barefoot Resort here in North Myrtle. This is the Southern English Radio Show on the Gator 107.9. Perry's Bait and Tackle has been making their customers' days on the water more successful and enjoyable for nearly 70 years. Perry's is a fully staffed and stocked family-owned tackle shop just north of the Marsh Wall. They have always taken pride in the best hand-tied rigs and a knowledgeable staff that is comprised of charter captains and experienced anglers. Their close proximity to the water allow them to offer the very best in live bait, and the options are endless. Perry's is now fully stocked with everything you need to make your day on the water a success. If you're in town visiting with no equipment, Perry's is your one-stop shop with apparel, tackle, baits, rods and reels, and boating supplies. Perry's Bait and Tackle, serving Merle's Inlet since 1954. All right, fish heads, we're back here, coming to you live via the Toyota Tundra Studio, presented by Sparks Toyota, where the dealer's always in.
And by Marshall's Marine and Key West Boats of Lake City and Georgetown, where every day is a boat show.
Hey, and by the Freedom Boat Club, where your boat is waiting.
Y'all are terrible.
We're looking straight at each other.
God.
Y'all couldn't synchronize any worse, could you?
Wait,
that was
now,
bad.
my phone was going crazy last week with text messages of how incredible y'all did, and then y'all just go and screw up that harmony right
Yep.
there.
Hell, actually,
They're not going to make any church chorus.
oh,
No. All right, so we got Jason the Flounder Pounder sitting with us, and we just found out you're not speaking until 10.
10 o'clock. I'm speaking at 10, 11, 1, and 2.
You got the schedule. Let's talk about it. Tommy, you got it. Go ahead. Let's
All right,
talk about the schedule.
So right now they just started the intros of George and Jot.
Yep.
9:30 to 10, we've got How to Read an Ocean. 10 to 10:30, Sea Trout. That's your buddy Jason is going to be up there. We got 10:30 to 11. We got Tables and Tides. The Flounder Pounder's coming back at 11 to 11:30, and we got Catching Fish with Electronics.
Okay, good.
All right, and then I didn't know there was lunch.
Well, you leave and go to lunch.
Yeah, it's a lunch
They're
break.
not feeding us. Tommy is all about some food, ain't he?
God Almighty!
Hey, if he could see that spread that y'all have back there.
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
coming back at? Are you coming back at 1 o'clock too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be here
Okay,
all day.
all right. So we got some red drum, bottom jigging, 1:30 to 2 to 2:30. The Kings. That's you too.
Yeah.
Why don't they just put your
Why
name
don't they
on
just
every-
call it the Flounder Pounder King Slinger Jason Burton?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm the inshore Slam-a-King-a-thon.
I tell you, you can go ahead and take from 2:30 to 3 off.
Yeah, oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm
Offshore trolling tactics from 2:30 to 3.
going to be recouping my vocal cords, getting ready
Hey,
for this
what is the
after
grand
party.
prize?
The grand prize is an all-exclusive paid trip to the Florida Keys.
Yo.
That's at 3 o'clock. So,
They will draw at 3 o'clock, and somebody who walked through the door is going to win it.
All right, so our other local captains are Joe Ziegler.
Joe Ziegler.
Captain Joe Ziegler.
Yeah.
We've got
Chris
Captain
Osmond.
Chris Osmond.
Local-wise, yes.
Local-wise, who else?
We got Jamie Hough from
Yep.
Charleston.
Yep.
You've got Jot Owens from Wrightsville.
Yep.
And a bunch of national traveling guys. So
Who's that?
that's Brandon.
Okay, got Brandon here.
Brandon
You
Huskins.
might not recognize him because he cut his hair.
Holy crap!
I didn't recognize
That
him
is
when he went
why.
down. He walked up. I'm reading his name tag, going, "Where's the rest of you?"
Holy crap! I didn't recognize him with no beard.
So,
Man, I tell you what. Again, folks, there's still an opportunity. I'm sure they'll still let you get
Yeah.
tickets. Come on up here. It's a great, great deal. And now we were talking to George during the break, and I thought this was a big crowd because it is a big crowd. Over
it's
250.
getting full.
How about 580 at New Jersey 3 weeks
wow.
ago?
Wow.
Yep. So we got to pick our game up, y'all.
We do. We
We
got
got
to
to
pick it
pick
up.
our.
But
We got to pick our game up.
that room is packed.
It is starting to fill up. There's
So-
probably 250, 300 seats in there.
And you got some vendors out here. They got vendors, and I mean, there were people coming in. I got here at 7:30,
Yeah.
and there were people.
So
coming
wait a
in.
minute. It's going to be you, Brandon, Chris, Mike,
Mike is now Jamie.
huh?
Mike couldn't make it. He came down with the flu, so Mike is
Mike
Jamie.
who?
I don't know.
Okay. So Jamie's in with y'all. So at 10 o'clock, I'm coming in for that. Sea Trout with Jot, Jamie, Brandon, Jason, and Chris Osman.
All-star lineup.
If you can't learn from that crowd, you can't learn.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll just let you know, we already talked to Chris Regan a little bit yesterday about the new and improved, and we've already played that part. But the new and improved MIFC, I'll just tell you, I threw you under the bus.
I like it.
I threw you under the bus. I did say that Jason was probably the one pointing the fingers and writing the checks.
Probably.
Somebody's got to do it.
Man, it looks great. It really does.
What you
Tony was even impressed.
we've been busy. What he's talking about, we're completely full makeover of the shack. We actually painted, stained the big wooden deck. We got all new tables and chairs coming, and we remodeled the entire inside. It is going to look better than 90% of the retail stores you probably shop in. So.
That's awesome. And you needed that. That's
It
going
was time for an update. You know, sometimes you got to get some new shoes and a new dress on the old girl. You know, make her look pretty.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a great deal, and we're looking forward to it. Now, you already mentioned the TVs. You're going to have some TVs up in there.
We are going to have TVs.
Are you going to have any on the outside?
We are going to have some on the outside. So we're going to have TVs with different fishing shows and just clips from some of our favorite charters, and who knows. Football season comes around, might have a football game on, might have some race on,
Are we going to have golf on April 14th when we're there for the Marshall's Marine Appreciation Day? Because we need to watch the last round of the Masters.
Welcome to the Masters.
There we go.
And we would definitely be watching
I
that.
can't wait, dude. That's going to be so much fun. Have you been fishing, or you just been busy?
I fished. Well, we went to McClellanville. We did fish. That's the last time I fished. We did some scouting the other day. Found a group of fish. Didn't really fish. Was more just kind of looking around. But we're really ramping up with the charters. This week alone, the weather wasn't the best, but everybody seemed to be running 4 or 5 charters, and the guys were catching them. I know. So there was a 5.8 trout caught yesterday. We had an 11-pound black drum weighed in last week. So people are starting to catch flounder and stuff.
A what?
11-pound black drum.
Was it legal?
Yeah, 25 inches. He had Jasonitis. He was short.
So much for
compact.
my black drum on the leaderboard.
Yep. No, we weighed it. We measured it because we thought the same thing, and it was 100% legal.
Who caught it?
I can't remember the kid's name.
It wasn't a charter?
No, it was not a charter. The guy, he left. We talked to him that morning. Saw him at the bait shop. He left, and he called us and said, can I weigh a fish in? And he pulled up by boat, pulled it out. And awesome thing about it, he let it go. So it was alive.
Oh, wow.
He did not want to keep it. He just simply wanted the credit for the board, and he released it, and which is,
When does the rodeo start back up?
All right, rodeo's going to start in April.
Okay.
All right, Fishing Chaos and has got everything pretty much created. We're waiting on a couple other details to go in. It will be active and live to register and everything else within the next 14 days. You'll be able to register on Fishing Chaos. You'll also be able to register with Jason.
Yeah.
Those are all the things that I've got to get worked out first, and then I'll get with these guys. You'll also be able to register on the boats as you're out there when you get on the boat and go. The other thing is the charter boat division is huge. That is going to be the huge thing.
How does that?
We've got a 3-night, 4-day vacation for the charter captain that wins and a guest. and some other prizes, including an advertising package for the boat. It is by boat, not by business. So Jason can win it, but he's got to win it on Fishzilla. But if one of his guys wins it, he's still at least got it to brag about that one of his guys won it.
I don't want them to win it. I want to win it.
I want to
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, remember we still have some prizes now we're holding on to.
Yes, we do.
But the reason I brought that up is I meant to tell you, guess what I'm doing tomorrow?
What are you doing tomorrow?
Breaking it in.
Breaking it in, boys.
Yeah, buddy.
The Key West, baby.
You got it.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I've not heard.
Yeah, so we were waiting. We had some things to do first, and then his schedule wasn't aligned with mine, so we're doing it tomorrow. We're going to put it in Enterprise and check everything out, and then by Tuesday.
Dude, congratulations.
So
that is a great boat.
Yeah, it is. The Key West. And
I told him, I
He
said,
got a great boat.
I said, we had a lot one on the old 210. What,
Yep.
the avocado
Yeah, we did.
one?
The avocado.
Oh, man, we had fun on that boat.
And so, yeah, it jotted my memory because I know we've got a tournament or two. We've got the law enforcement thing coming up in May, but
we got a lot of tournaments coming up.
Yeah,
we do. You starts with the Grand Strand Saltwater Anglers Flounder Tournament in April, the end of April.
April 24th.
And that is going to be the start of the new Marshall's Marine Grand Strand Inshore Cup Series.
Awesome.
That you're now going to be eligible to win an extra $500 at the end because you're in a Key West.
Yeah. Well, you going to give me those trilogy stickers to put on the side?
Yeah, we're going to get you some stickers on there. Don't worry.
You want to tat it up now?
Hey, let me think about it. Hang on. Do I want Tommy representing? Hang on.
Yeah, you do.
Hey, yes, we will get you those. The cup is going to be a blast. All right, so it's going to be fun. And when you sign up for the cup, you're automatically going to be signed up for the rodeo too.
That's cool.
So you'll fish all the inshore tournaments, and I think we've got one more inshore tournament. Did you see we got thrown under the bus again on Facebook?
No, what happened?
The new flounder tournament is coming.
You know,
But I have not had a chance to talk to him yet about it.
Hey, some things in life are relevant and some are not. So.
But so this flounder tournament, this other one coming, but we will have 7 or 8 inshore tournaments.
That's good.
So, and you only have to fish half of them.
And the best part about it is 99% of them are going to be live release, so nothing.
That's right.
Nothing is going to hurt our resources.
Actually, yes, 99%.
Yeah,
You're right.
You cannot do a live release with the Spanish tournament. That is impossible.
No, so
that's
that's going
the
to be
only
2.
one.
All right, so also, I'll just say this, Captain Scotty's Inshore Slam tournament in Little River is going to also be a kill tournament. And for valid reasons, I agree. Captain Scotty's tournament is going to be a kill tournament. All others are live release.
Yeah.
I do know that. Every single other tournament is live release.
I'll take 80. I'll take 80%.
80%
over 0.
So let's take it. It's great.
10 years ago, they were killing everything. Now we're putting the fish back, and look at what you can do. You can catch them again another day.
This goes right back to what we were talking about with Jamie Hough earlier.
Yep.
Exactly. Be proactive. Let's do our job and let's keep the regulations from having to happen.
Well, that's what we're doing. Even internally, we have a meeting scheduled for our company, and we are actually going to implement our own regulations that are not legal by means.
So I'm going to bring this up.
And this is
I'm
just
gonna
me
bring
doing
this
what
up.
I'm going to do.
Here we go.
I'm going to bring this up because something ruffled my feathers a week and a half ago on Facebook. So I saw a charter captain calling out a group of charter captains for killing fish.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to completely call BS on it because the person that called him out puts more kill pictures up than anybody I know. And for them to make the comment about how terrible it is to kill these fish when they're spawning, I about blew a gasket. And you know I did because I texted you immediately. That's ridiculous. And it is somebody who can't get out there to do what they're doing and why he posted it. And I'm sorry.
Hey, I mean, that's, the greatest thing about this country is freedom of speech, and you can have your own opinion, and, that's your prerogative, even if you're wrong.
But you look like an idiot when you show complete jealousy in the social media world.
I mean, I think if you're doing that type of stuff, then you're hurting your own image. So you're just,
Isn't that
And
kind of dictated by your clients, though? I mean, you're there to
exactly.
serve them. If they want to keep,
No.
No, it shouldn't be.
No,
that's what we're going to talk
I can
about.
tell you I have implemented it myself last year. Our company will be implementing it. If there's a certain thing, but like, for example, we are not going to keep trout over 20 inches. I don't care.
Right.
When our customers catch them, we're going to explain. We have stickers on the boat. And what we're even going to do is we're actually discussing doing release over 20 on flounder, trout, and redfish.
There you go.
And for them releasing them, we're actually going to give them a $65 shirt for releasing and doing the right thing for free. And that way we're going to do everything we can
to promote it.
to promote release over 20.
Incredible. That's awesome.
Take a picture, get a replica, do whatever you want. But, let that fish go.
I want to clarify something.
let it breathe.
The person that I'm talking about is a friend of mine and a great fisherman.
Yeah.
A great fisherman.
Some people just, they say too much, Some
Thank
people don't say enough.
They can hide behind that social media too.
Well, that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
Keyboard bandits are everywhere.
Keyboard bandits, baby.
I mean,
And
they can type up anything they want, but most of the time, face to face, they're not going to criticize.
I'm looking at Paul Godbout here, who sells fish from CharlestonFishing.com back in the day. And you want to talk about keyboard warriors? CharlestonFishing.com
That's where it
was
started.
a room full of keyboard warriors. And you were not a warrior. You were the man. But it unbelievable. And that's another one, by the way, Paul. You want to come listen to Paul. High speed, Wahoo.
Oh.
He's going to talk bottom fishing, I'm sure. You're going to talk some bottom fishing?
Dude, we were just having.
Yeah, let Paul sit in.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, Paul.
I actually want to talk to Paul because we just had a discussion in the back room. He is, make sure I am saying this correctly. He runs a boat school where he teaches people a school of fishing to where he teaches people how to properly operate boats, how to fish, and all this stuff. Because, there's a lot of people out there with a lot of money
Yes.
who want to buy a boat.
Yep.
But you know what doesn't come with that boat? The skills to operate it or the know-how to
knowledge.
go fish.
Yes.
So, Paul, tell us what you do, buddy.
I started about 15 years ago, and George has been a big benefactor in this too, because I get a lot of people that live, say, Lake Murray or Kiwi or any of the other big inland lakes here. They have big offshore boats. They have no idea what they're doing when it comes to the big pond.
Yep.
And basically, I teach people. I take people, and I got soup to nuts, basically teaching everything about how to run out of the harbor. But the main thing I do is live bait and grouper, deep dropping for sword, golden tile fishing, and my love, high-speed wahoo.
Yep.
I love my
There's
wahoo
no doubt
fishing.
about it. You love it. And the other thing is this, like what you've started doing, and you've been doing it for a while.
No,
haven't you?
I started, well, okay, I got stationed here in the Marine Corps in 1984. All during the Marine Corps, I was fishing, working on my days off. I'd work on commercial boats or on old Randy Scott down there with the Carolina Clipper and all the boys with the Thunderstar. And then I started working on the shark boat. In fact, I've got a 16-foot, 7-inch great white quarter mount on the wall in my living room. And that's my wife hates it. She wants it to find a new home. But I started then, and if you want to go really far back, I started in 1979 on the back deck of a dragger out of Point Judith. Absolutely terrified, never been on the ocean in my life. And my father throws me to the wolves and puts me on the back of a dragger with his best friend. And that was it. I was hooked. And when I got out of the Corps, I went right back to work on swordfish boats, snapper grouper boats, and
All that in Charleston?
yeah, all
Out of
that in Charleston. I've stayed in Charleston since I got stationed here. I met my wife in '86, the old Navy hospital. 3 sons and a whole pile of grandchildren later, and life's good. Life's real good.
Let's talk about your other business, man. I think the oyster idea and what you do down there with the shellfish is awesome.
From October, so the first half of the year, from April through October, I'm teaching.
Yep.
And then once October 1st gets here, I don't get a chance to slow down again until St. Patty's Day, basically, around April 15th. We cater, we do oyster roast, we do low country boil. And I do all the boat manufacturers pretty much in Charleston. I do their Christmas parties. I've been doing Sportsman since he had a handful of employees. Now we're 350 employees. We do low country boil oysters and chili for them, but I also retail oysters.
Yep.
I've got acreage that we lease from the state. We retail bushels of local clusters, big, salty, wonderful oysters, and pretty much every weekend I sell out, and that'll continue all the way till it gets hot. Once about April, season goes through May, but I'm done in April because I'm transitioning back over to the fishing.
Right.
But we're also good stewards down there. We replant shell all summer. We put bamboo stakes out. I mean, I've been everything I can to help DNR. And by the way, our DNR and our DHEC, Department of Health Environmental Control, head and shoulders above any guys I've ever worked. We never worry about the oyster beds.
Yeah.
I mean, they're on top of it all the time, checking. If we get a heavy rain, they're checking for fecal coliform or any other contaminants. But our oyster beds, the health of our oyster beds and our inshore fisheries is fabulous.
If our neighbors to the north took just 10% of what we do down here and started using it, would help all of us.
Of course it would.
Possibly.
Well, those estuaries, those are the breeding grounds.
Yep.
Those are the breeding grounds. And when you work out there during the wintertime, you know, Mike, I don't pick oysters as much anymore. I'm an old man now. I mean, that's a young man's game. And but I still love to get out there with the crews and the things you see riding out there. You see in the skimmers hitting the water or the oyster catchers and dolphins strand feeding. Because in the winter, there's nobody out there.
Right.
And you're down there at Folly or Keel or at Captain Sam's. It's you feel lucky to be out there. I always tease. I'll put a picture, say, my day at the office and show us running down the river. And, you know, I'm a lucky man. My wife lets me fish for a living year round.
We all have to agree with that, Jason. We all agree. We have wonderful offices.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't trade my office for anything in the world.
No. Now, what are you going to talk about today, Paul?
The main things, he's got me doing Saltwater tables and tide tables. And, you know, I've got some insight on a few things at work. Like we got skunked Monday because of the full moon on Wahoo. And I was watching pods of bait that were acres and acres of bait dragging all around them. And then the bite turned on about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. After we were already headed home.
Yep.
A couple of my buddies that stayed out late looking because they're in the Wahoo series, they stayed out late and got some fish. Nothing real big came in this week, but that full moon, boy, that makes all the difference in the world. But I'm going to do offshore trolling, of course, the bottom fishing, cellular tables. He's got me doing one other thing. I got to look into.
So we talk about the moon a lot.
The moon makes everything.
Now, see, on grouper fishing, it doesn't. Bottom fishing,
you don't think it does? I like to do that.
Look, I don't. If I'm going grouper fishing, I'm not even getting up till 5:30. I'm not even getting to the boat till 6:30 because I got to go catch live bait. And you're not catching the live bait that I want till that sun's up. Those hardtails, those cigar minnows, we're sabiki rigging them. And the people are like, why are we leaving so late? I'm like, trust me.
Yeah.
Because they're used to leaving at 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, you're not catching Manhattan on the beach at 4 o'clock in the morning. You're not getting cigar minnows. And I've taken 2.5, 3 hours to make sure the live well has the right baits in it because nothing is more important when I'm going grouper fishing than premium live baits.
Live bait.
And I'll tell you, I mean, there'll be days where I'll check 6 different cans, finally get the big cigar minnows just the jumbos. Or the Manhattan. I like what we call turbos.
Yep.
The big Manhattan. But to me, the moon plays no factor, and the tide plays no factor other than current.
Current. I was going to say current's got to be the one thing.
When you get the big moons or plus or negative tides, and you're going past the ledge, you know. Granted, I can hold bottom and with 16 ounces, 20 ounces, but there's days we got to bump up in 250 foot of water. We're looking for the big gags, and we'll go to 32 ounces of lead to hold a 1 pound beeliner down there.
Yep.
And when I show people what we use for rigs and the gear, because I get all these people go, well, I catch big grouper on 80-pound test. I go, not like we do. You're not getting a 40-pound grouper that's near rocks anywhere near the boat on 80-pound test. I mean, a big gag, when he hits, we call them freight trains for a reason.
Yep.
Because when they hit, it's bam, it's on, and it's running.
You can talk about enticing the bite and getting all the bites you want, but if you're not getting the fish in the boat.
If you can't pull them out the rock, you're
I've had 200-pound leaders come up shredded. They look like a girl's ponytail, just where they took it down in the rocks and it went 2 or 3 times, gone. And you know what it was. I mean, I'm running a 1 pound beeliner for bait.
Yep.
Because I tell people, a gag's got a mouth like a 5-gallon bucket. He can eat a 1 pound beeliner and big fish, big bait.
That they do. Big fish, big bait, no doubt about it. And I definitely adhere to that when it comes to grouper fishing. And so we're going to go to break. We got to go to break. Paul, thank you so much for joining us, man. We're super excited. Can't wait to listen to you. And like I said, y'all, you can still get in, still come down. I think I see George's wife still sitting in there at the table. If you want to come in at the last minute,
hey, English, anybody looking for oysters, if they're coming down in the Charleston area, they can hit me on Facebook.
How do they? Yes.
SC Oysters is my page on Facebook. SC Oysters, or they can just hunt for me, Paul Godbout, for getting in touch with me.
And here's the other way: pick up a Trilogy Outdoors magazine starting this month, and I'm not going to let Paul miss another month, but. Pick up a Trilogy Outdoors magazine. We'll have all his information in it, too. All right, so we got it right here. Yeah, make sure you reach out to him. If you're going down to Charleston, you will not regret it. I mean, like he said, he entertains all the fisheries, all the boat manufacturers down there, but a lot more. I've seen some who's in Charleston that had your smiling face out there cooking for them. All right, we're going to go to break, Jenna. You ready?
Of course.
All right, we're having a great time. Y'all come out here and hang out. Matt, don't go anywhere. I promise you I'm going to let you talk. All right, listen, don't go anywhere. Hey, we're going to be right back on the other side of the break. This is the Southern Anglers Radio Show on the Gator 107.9. We all know that the inlet rocks when it comes to great fishing and good times on the boat. Now the description of why this inlet is so great is now the new bait and tackle shop here to serve a rocking good time to all the fish heads and anglers out there. Ronald Stalvey brings his enthusiasm, excitement, and genuine care for the angler to the new store and is ready to serve all your fishing needs. If it's live bait, hand-tied rigs, the hottest in artificial baits, frozen baits, apparel, and much more, they have you covered. If you need anything that you don't see, just let Ronald know. Stop in and welcome them into town and get all the latest reports. Inlet Rocks Bait and Tackle opens daily at 5:30 a.m. and is located on 17 Business, just a quarter-mile south of the Merle's Inlet Landing. All right, fish heads, we're back here. We're coming to you live from the Barefoot Resort Conference Center, and we're brought to you through Sparks Toyota Tundra Studio, where the dealer's always in.
And by Key West Boats and Marshall's Marina of Lake City and Georgetown, where every day is a boat show.
Every day!
And by the Freedom Boat Club, where your boat is always waiting.
Hey, and let's don't forget our good buddies at Monarch Roofing, where, hell, it's all right.
Oh.
Just give our guys a call.
So are you
Hey,
going
first listening.
you going to talk some fishing today, Jason?
First up, we got 15 minutes. Sea Trout's first one. It's me, Jamie Hough, Jot, Brandon, and Chris Osmond. So.
That'll be educational.
That'll be
Should be
educational.
good.
We'll be in there for that if we can get I'm going to get this equipment broken down. But we are up here at Barefoot Resort. You can still get in, y'all. I'm telling you, if you want to come up here, you just decided, hey, this weather looks terrible. I'm not going to go out. I want to actually go learn how to fish. Come on up here, Barefoot Resort Conference Center. Come right across the swing bridge. Take your left into the parking lot. You cannot miss it. Look for Redfish Mafia truck, the Trilogy Outdoors truck, some Mako boats, and you can't miss it. Come on up.
Yeah,
Great speakers.
Yeah, you can still get in.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just ride around, can't figure out what to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's a nasty Saturday. I mean,
Yeah, it's perfect.
All right, we're going to get an update real quick on our JT Tompkins, who, by the way, folks, just so y'all know, yesterday caught a 913, a 7.8. Is that right? It's 913 and a 7.8, had 35 pounds.
But missed a big one.
I'll see you boys in there.
Missed the big one. Yeah, you got to go. Missed a big one, and this morning he's a little bit slower start, I think.
A little slower.
Slower start. He's just got a 6-pounder in the boat, and he has moved out of the top 10. Is that what we're looking at?
I think he is dropped to 12th now. I'm trying to pull it up right now.
Track. Just press it again. I do that all the time. Oh, there we go. Now you got
And
it.
for you guys, JT's a local guy that's doing the Bass Pro stuff and doing it extremely well.
JT Tompkins.
Young man.
Young man. And listen, speaking of young, the leader, Trey McKinney, is 19, just turned on Monday.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The electronic dudes, the new technology guys.
Hey, it's a game changer. It is. We talked about it yesterday with Andrew. It's a game changer. These kids are just unbelievable, and they put time on the water.
Yeah. We've got some listeners all over the place today.
Yeah, I want to hear about this. So obviously, I'll just tell you that our OG is here in the house from Ohio. He and his wife are in there enjoying the seminar.
Yep.
And we've got
who? Where?
Miss Lisa down in Ormond Beach, Florida.
Lisa in Ormond Beach, Florida.
And my brother Danny down in Beaufort.
Danny.
And then my buddy Alan up in Boone, North Carolina. So we're like covering some turf today.
I call Danny Sandbar, because we spent that little time on the sandbar.
I couldn't believe that happened. That was unbelievable that we ended up stuck with my brother, the premier guide in Beaufort. He didn't dazzle E that day.
It happens to everybody. And I think we still had fun, if I'm not mistaken.
We did. Beaufort can be treacherous if you don't know where you're going, and he just turned it a little bit short on his
We
turn.
were coming out of Landon, remember?
Yeah,
That one turn.
And we were coming out of Beaufort River trying to turn upstream, go up Broad River.
Yep.
And then he just turned it a little bit early.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, it's already been fun just hanging out here for the last hour and a half, 2 hours, and talking with everybody. I know you've enjoyed it. I've caught you in a lot of conversations, and it's great to see Chef Richard came up to partake in it. And, of course, he's having more fun sitting out here talking with us. He doesn't know what he's missing inside, but
yeah, he thinks we know something when the experts are inside the building doing the seminar.
Yep, and Sergeant Kevin Pardue is here. We've got obviously Mr. Green Jeans, Tommy Buchanan's in the house. Coach Captain Rayburn Poston, who's here, and Salt always is involved with this when George comes to town. That they were out here today, and Rayburn was helping with registration and such, and just a great crowd. Again, a great crowd and a great group of people.
Guys, if you haven't attended one of these and you've got any interest in fishing at all, this is something that it's a bucket list item to do. George is a great guy, very approachable. All these guys are. It gives you an opportunity just to walk up and talk. And talk with these people. Y'all hear us on the radio and come and say hello and actually meet us. And the same thing goes with all these captains. They've got some excellent guys here.
Let me tell you, this is a place you can come today and you can cut your learning curve a lot.
A lot.
There is some information coming out in this building right here today that is many, 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 many years and trips of knowledge to get to where they're at. And you want to learn something, today is your opportunity.
Well, and you'll look at this as it might be a little bit expensive, but the thing is, when you walk in the door, they hand you a bucket. You've got all kinds of boat wash and buckets and all kinds of gear, and then you got an opportunity to on drawings to walk out here with an armload of stuff. So in the end, it's no cost, and you're going to get just a bountiful amount of knowledge.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I was looking, and for those that don't know, here's a list of all the personalities. We mentioned Jot Owens, Captain Chris Osman, Captain Paul Godbout, Captain Jamie Hough, Matt Upton with Roths, Harry Vernon III of Harry's, Captain Harry's. We got Captain Mike Goodwines here, Captain Brandon Huskins. We talked about Brandon, who's missing all of his beard and everything else. Captain Joe Ziegler, Captain Jason Burton, Captain David Wicker, Captain Alan Wenzel, and, of course, the one and only George Poveromo. And
that's the lineup right there, guys.
That is a great lineup. And I'll just tell you that if you have not been catching George's shows this season, they've been incredible. I've really been enjoying them. Sunday mornings on the Discovery Channel, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
It's on the Discovery Channel. And again, one of the best television show hosts out there in the outdoor television world. And
it's
really
been doing it for decades.
And incredibly edited television, informative, and it's really cool to see the places that he goes.
Yeah, he fishes a lot down in the Keys, and George has had some interesting trips. But I spoke to him a little while ago, and and you can look this up. One of the most interesting shows he ever did. They were sword fishing down in the Keys. And George got pulled overboard.
Yep, exactly.
And it was dangerous. He
could have
died.
He could have died. Bad situation.
Yeah, he could have died right there. But it gave him an opportunity to do some more education and rethink how he was doing things. And now it's pretty standard that that's what you do when you get on these big fish, to stay in the boat.
Yep.
So George had the enough knowledge to not just pull the drag back and end up getting drowned, but there's always something to learn, and safety is something that, that's part of what we talk about a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you notice in there, I think one of the big tables that's set up in there is ACR, is that right?
ACR, yeah.
They
got
ACR set up with
stuff.
all their safety equipment and everything else, and I've got two items I have one item of theirs, and then I have an EPIRB from them, and then, of course, I have my Garmin InReach, which is similar, and I mean, the main reason I got that is so I can text while I'm out there. But it works the same way. I send out SOS and everything else.
Safety, yeah.
Safety is very important.
You can never be too safe. There's no such thing as being too safe.
Yeah, we're coming up to that time of the year where normally prior to him becoming a partner and co-host, Tommy would be joining us to talk about all the safety stuff, and we'll do that in the next coming weeks.
I think we're going to do a couple recordings.
I think we need to do it on the boat.
We do need to do it.
Don't you? I think that would be a good idea. Is if we go fishing, and then you can go through the boat and pick through all my safety equipment.
Well, no, I remember
while we're fishing and you're breaking rods. I mean catching too.
catching fish.
and catching life jackets.
Yeah, also I was going to say was we were sitting there. We took off at the shotgun start, and all the life jackets started blowing
out.
I got all of them.
He was snagging them. He had them on his neck, on his arms.
I just snuck in and watched a few minutes of How to Read an Ocean, which is about over with. But
yeah, I was going to say, why don't we take a second and go over and tell people some of the topics that they are going to be discussing today?
Yeah,
and,
go ahead, Tommy. You got the sheet there. Come through
right
it.
now they're finishing up on the How to Read an Ocean, and I stepped in there. Let me tell you something about George real quick that I wanted to say was, this is George's event. His name is all over it. But these captains that are here, it's their time.
Yep.
And so as far as the locals are concerned, our local guys are doing a phenomenal job. Joe's up there now, and I was listening to him, and I can relate to him. 10 to 10:30 again. We got sea trout going on. We got Jot, Mike, Brandon. Of course, we got Jason in there, Chris.
All local guys.
Local guys. 10:30 to 11. Tables and tides.
The salooner table and tides, I think, are very important. We've talked.
I'm not. What's a salooner table?
That is your moon, baby.
That's your peak
That's your
and
peak
low.
and low. That's your major, your minors. That's where that moon is highest.
And
that's
it
where
matters.
the moon's at the lowest.
And it usually jobs with the tide. On tide changes.
And there you go. This is a perfect opportunity right here today
to learn.
To learn.
Right.
Yep.
And that is proven out in king mackerel tournaments to definitely be an asset. If you know what the peak is,
amen,
and you
better not be running.
Make sure you're fishing during those times and not running around.
You better have a lure in the water during.
It has paid dividends in king mackerel tournaments, I promise.
Yep, and then flounder. And, of course, Jason Burton's up there for that. Yeah. We got Jot, who's a great flounder fisherman in North Carolina. Captain Brandon, Little River, great captain. Captain Chris Osman and Joe Ziegler will be up there for that. And then at 11:30 to 12 before lunch, we got catching fish with electronics. Here we go.
And that's here what you all need to come check out.
Yep. Here we go.
I sure hope that they have a one device that I'm quite fond of. I don't know if they will.
They won't.
What's that?
They don't. Wrong company. But they will have Mega Live, I think, is what his company is.
Well, either way, you're right. Catching fish, and they got lunch coming back at 1 o'clock with Red Drum. Again, we've got our local captains. Same thing again from 1:30 to 2. We got our local guys.
Bottom and jigging. Now, that's going to be fun. Bottom fishing and jigging. And, again, you've got George, Harry, Paul Godbout, Chris Osman, and Joe Ziegler up for that. That's going to be another really good segment. If you want to find some really good tips out about bottom fishing. And then at 2 o'clock, I really like that, the king mackerel. You got Jot, you got Dave, you got Chris, Jason, and Harry burning up there. And you're talking about guys from Florida. You got guys from North Carolina. You got guys from South Carolina.
And it's different.
A lot of different ways.
And it's different. The guys in Florida have different techniques.
Jot, you will finish us out, okay?
Than we do.
Yeah, we'll put Jot over here in the show with us. I got 3 minutes. Yeah, I know you do. That's good. Yeah, man, come on.
Give us your best 3 minutes.
Give us your best Jot. 3 minutes. Hey, the one and only, jot it down. Captain Jot Owens is with us. Jot, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Yeah, you got you kind of got bumped into that assistant role with George, I see.
Yeah, co-hosting.
You're the co-host.
Yeah, excited. I've been doing this almost 19 years of the seminar series. I didn't know if I'd see co-host or not. I mean, George likes me, but, I can be pretty loud sometimes.
Oh, he must really like you. He must really like you to put you in there. But listen, we were talking about it. You are going to be talking sea trout with Jason and those guys. Mm-hmm. Man, that's going to be awesome. You're also doing the flounder, which I was telling everybody, when you get your 2 weeks of flounder fishing or whatever,
I'll be.
I'm
I'll
gonna
be
leave
wide
it
open.
alone because I know you sit on the Marine Advisory Board. But
No. It's tough. It's
y'all
tough.
got your hands full up there.
We do. We really do.
You know
It's
what's-
getting better. Fishing is getting better though. But like I said up there on stage, with 4 years of 72% reduction, better be getting better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, we're going the wrong direction. The big question is after this year, this is the 5th year of that FMP. They can add 2 years. They can add a 6th or 7th year, or what happens next? Like, you know, are we going to get? I need more time. I mean, 2 weeks is. I ran 22 trips in 14 days.
Yep.
I had 28 booked in 14 days, but we had that little tropical system. That came
Yep, the
through.
weather came.
The weekend. It was the weekend, so it didn't hurt my feelings too much. I missed a Saturday. Saturday's okay, but where do we go next? You know, that's the big deal. The fishing's good. The fish are big, but we can't mess it up again.
You know, you guys are regulated by there's no involvement of your legislature in your game
Decisions.
Yeah, well,
in your game decisions. Unfortunately,
and that's the scenario. And this is the very scary truth about this. And I've been told this many times. If it has anything to do with fin or feather, they're not going to touch it.
Yep.
And that's scary. And when it does happen, there's usually money behind it, as in there's a lobbying group has gotten in there and worked hard to do something. But it happens at marine fisheries levels, and then everybody in the legislature gets mad because marine fisheries are doing it. Well, let's fix that. You know, if it takes legislative power, then let's fix that. You know,
I think it would help y'all a lot.
oh, absolutely.
Well,
I know.
But we're criticized for the way we do it through the legislation. Say it's
gonna be-
it's all political. I mean,
absolutely.
it's all
It
political.
is. And you just mentioned something. I mean, in North Carolina, we understand commercial fishing is a huge
Oh yeah.
factor. And there are families that have been doing it for generations and generations.
Your
But-
legacy, yeah.
But at some point, we got to remember the fisheries.
That's it.
At
That's
some
it.
point, we've got to think about the resources. Listen, I know you're looking at your watch.
Yeah,
I know you gotta go.
I cannot miss it.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for showing up today, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks
man,
for having me.
absolutely. We're happy to be here, man. All right, the one and only Jot Owens, and listen, we'll put his information up there for Jot It Down Charters. You got to go fishing with him. Great time, right up there, just above the state line, not far away, man. He's right there in is he in Moorhead? No, he's in Wrightsville. Wrightsville. But man, it's a great time. What are we at? 9:55. We got 5 minutes here. Anybody
Yep.
want any closing?
About 4 minutes, guys.
Yeah, about 4 minutes. Anybody got any closing things? I know. What else?
Oh, buddy. Go ahead.
Look at Sarge. Sarge is running from it.
Put it on.
You've never seen Sarge run from a microphone.
Now we got a star on with
Now we got a
headset
star. Now we actually have somebody that actually does work at DNR.
on. You mean he's a game warden?
He's an actual game warden.
Ow.
You know,
Sorry, Tommy.
didn't they name Tommy the PIO, Public Information Officer yet? Because that would be a perfect job.
But Tommy's got his belt on this morning, so I don't want to talk too much about him.
But he's shooting a water gun. They gave him a water gun. It doesn't even fit in his holster.
Yeah, but he talks to the colonel more than I do.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
He's plugged
Yep.
in. He's plugged in.
He's plugged in now. Hey, how's everything been going?
It's busy.
So let's talk about real quick. We got 5 minutes. New Marine.
No, you got 3.
We got 3 minutes. New Marine Division. Is that? Are y'all involved in that too, or is that just Georgetown?
It's coastwide. They're kicking back up the saltwater unit like
Right.
they had at one time. Right now, it's not its own unit. Officers are tasked with additional duties to help with the saltwater enforcement, the JEA, the joint enforcement stuff through NOAA.
Right.
NOAA Fisheries doesn't. There's a enforcement gap, obviously, because they're large areas.
Offshore, right?
Yeah, offshore.
Yeah, beyond 3 miles.
Well, and we do a lot of it inshore with those boats coming back in, of course. But that's where we do the 300 to 200 mile stuff, and we get additional monies with the state every year to help cover that, and that's how we make the federal charges and do those things and carry a dual commission.
Right.
But those officers are tasked with more of the paperwork end of it and teaching, and as they.
What about you guys that are checking the boats?
They're helping us do that. That's their main priority also.
Right.
But region-wide, we're still doing our saltwater enforcement. We're not just leaving it on them.
Right.
So each unit still is doing the saltwater enforcement. We just have certain people they're taking additional duties on. Hopefully it will eventually become a standalone, you know,
Right.
like it used to be when we had District 9, like North Carolina separate.
Yep.
But I think that's a a ways down the road.
Gotcha.
But you think that's important, don't you? Don't you think that's an important group?
Absolutely.
I thought so. Yeah, it is, and I'll tell you why. Because these guys are covered. They're tasked with covering an incredible area. I've always thought, not joke with Kevin, but the serious truth is, he's got the largest county east of the Mississippi to maintain and manage and take care of. And you've got, at any point in time, you've got 4 to 6 seasons, whether it's fishing, hunting, or whatever going on. And it's tough. And he misses Tommy.
Well, you won't find anybody that works harder than
All right,
Tommy.
about a minute.
You're right. I know.
I mean,
he said that to me multiple times.
This is not only his job, it's also his hobby.
Yep.
He loves work. And, yeah, we miss him. It's nice having somebody I can depend on to send, and I've got other guys. But luckily now we went from 4 officers to 11.
11, yep.
Our unit led the state, or I know we led the state. I think we beat every other unit in the region added during duck season. We've made some
great cases.
We've made some good federal fisheries cases recently too.
Oh yeah, I've heard. Well, I have heard a little bit. Well, I'll tell you what. It's been a great time, Sarge. I don't mean to cut you off, but Jenna's getting ready to cut me off. Y'all, it's been a great time, and I want to thank everybody for coming out. Fred, Captain Matt, Tony the Bassmaster Carter, Mr. Green Jeans, Tommy Buchanan for coming out, and Chef Richard. Great to see him as well. And, of course, Sergeant Kevin Pardue here. George, thank you for the invite to come up here and hang out. Y'all come down again. You can still get in, y'all. You can still get in. We're right here at Barefoot Resort at the Conference Center. And on behalf of Super Jenna back in the studio, all the crew I just mentioned, I am Captain E, and this has been the Southern English Radio Show on the Gator 107.9. For nearly 10 years, we have loved being involved with some of the best businesses along the Grand Strand and promoting them, their services, and their employees. And Monarch Roofing is second to none. If you're looking for any roofing needs, commercial, residential, our friends at Monarch Roofing want to take care of you. You're looking for affordability, you're looking for the fair pricing, you're looking for honesty, they are who you want to call. If you visit monarchroofing.biz, you can find out more, but let's talk about all the things they do in the community, along with keeping us all dry and safe at home. Roofs for Troops is an incredible group where they're putting new roofs on top of veterans that can't afford it. This group does golf tournaments, fishing tournaments, and everything else to raise money, and we are proud to be a partner in that and hope to help them over the next couple of years continue to grow this. But if you're looking for a roof, you're looking for the right people, you're looking for honesty, reach out to Monarch Roofing, monarchroofing.biz for all your roofing needs today.
Trilogy Outdoors Podcast is a product of Trilogy Outdoors Media. All views and opinions of our hosts and guests are not necessarily those of our sponsors. Trilogy Outdoors is produced and edited by Trilogy Outdoors Media. Be sure to follow us on all the podcast platforms as well as our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And also don't forget our other brands, Southern English Radio Show and Walk 'Em All Outdoor Magazine. To find more information, visit trilogyoutdoorsmedia.com. And remember, if it's anything dealing with fins, fur, and feathers, you're going to find it right here on Trilogy Outdoors.